Port Arthur, it's home to a large portion of the world's oil refining capacity, and it's one of the nation's leading seaports. Yet its residents are plagued with unemployment and poverty. KFDM's Angel San Juan joins us tonight in the studio with his special report on this economic divide.
We've all heard the stories about Port Arthur's glory days, a thriving community powered by good refinery jobs. The refineries remain there, but not the quality of life. The average household income in Port Arthur is below $50,000 with a poverty rate of nearly 30%. But you're about to meet two men who say it's not too late to restore prosperity. In the shadows of refineries, the future for Port Arthur children doesn't seem as bright as it did decades ago when John Beard was growing up on the west side of the city.
Port Arthur wasn't always like this. You know, when I grew up, the kids that I went to school with had a parent that worked at one of the plants, or they worked for a company that did business with the plants, or they worked for the city, the county, or one of the 3 hospitals. Well, now we only have 1 hospital.
Beard is a former councilman and lifelong community activist. He says as his city declines, the gap between the haves and have-nots grows wider.
Well, nothing can be more stark than when you talk about economic disparity than looking at Port Arthur. Here we're sitting in the midst of all of these refineries of billions of dollars, billions in expansion from the waterway to the port to Valero, Motiva, and all of those companies, but yet we have some of the worst economic statistics you can find. We have some of the highest unemployment in the state. We also have the lowest, if you look in terms of those economic indicators of wealth that point to the disparity, we have some of the lowest per capita income, household income, property values, you name it, and we're at the bottom. How can that be in the midst of all of this prosperity? That's the city's.
On any given day, you'll see Beard walking the streets, picking up litter, anything to improve his city, but he says so much more is needed to restore Port Arthur to anything close to its glory days.
First of all, we've got to put money in people's pockets again. We've got to get people back to work and working meaningful jobs that produce a living wage and also help them reinvest back into the community.
Beard says the refineries used to promise a comfortable lifestyle for Port Arthur residents, but he now worries those who profit the most from industry in Port Arthur are outsiders.
There has to be a greater sensitivity from industry to maximize those opportunities for Port Arthur. We see far too many vehicles coming from all 48 continental United States, basically. But when they leave in the evening, they go north, east, and west. They don't come into the inner city and stay here because they don't live here. And when they leave on Friday evenings, they take that wealth and that money, that sucking noise is the wealth of this city leaving with them back to where they come from. We've got to reestablish wealth back in Port Arthur.
And that's exactly what Rashad Harris is doing. Like Beard, he's a Port Arthur native. He owns Raw, a chain of clothing stores in Texas and Louisiana, with the flagship store at Central Mall in Port Arthur.
Everybody is not plant material, not refinery material. You know, not saying that you can't do it. I'm just not interested in working in a refinery, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, they have all different type of avenues of business that you can take, you know, and they don't necessarily have to be in a refinery.
Harris knows the role refineries have played in the area's growth, but he has long felt the Southeast Texas economy needs to diversify to provide greater job opportunities to its residents.
We're not lacking refineries, we're lacking other businesses.
But for more entrepreneurs to do what Harris is doing, Beard says there needs to be a buy-in from citizens to make it worthwhile for businesses to set up shop in Port Arthur.
Citizens have to start coming out and actually working with those businesses, actually buying those goods and services. And when you do that, you create wealth in the community.
Harris says the letters that spell his store name Raw stand for respect, appearance, ambitious, and honor. All traits he identifies with Port Arthur. He and Beard say it's that type of Port Arthur pride everyone in the city needs to attract investments and restore prosperity to all, and not just a few. A lot of Port Arthur's economic success will also be riding on the results of this year's census count. Hurricanes have definitely caused the population to go down, but if it dips below 50,000, the city could lose vital federal funding. Tiffany?
Thanks, Angel.